Hi there, this is Julie the Whippy Chick, and thank you for coming back to my channel. Today we are going to examine this app here. It's called Crochet Genmius. I do like to review crochet apps just because, you know, they're so rare. There's not that many of them out there, but there are more and more coming. So without further ado, we're going to check out this one called Crochet Genmius. Once you load the app, you're going to go ahead and open it up. And when you open mine, it's got these two projects here. When you first open it, there won't be any projects here. I've opened these projects just to try out the app. Yarn Amazing, when you click on that, it takes you back to this screen. Up here we've got these three different counters, I guess you could call them. This one counts the stitches that you have created using the app. So if you've used your stitch counter at all, they'll show up there. This one shows you how many rows you've completed. This one shows you how many projects you've completed. And this one, if you are running the timer, will show you how much time you have spent on a particular project, which does come in handy if you are selling your projects. It's good to know how long they take to make. I'm going to go ahead and click on some of these to see what happens. Okay, so the only thing that happens when you click on these is that you can reset your timer. I will say the first thing that I do notice about this app is it takes a little time to get to know it and to click around and find where you're going. Like I'd already forgotten whether, you know, these apps or these portions up here were clickable. Like I couldn't remember if I clicked on that if it would show me my completed project or not. So it does take a little getting used to. Okay, so the second thing we're going to look at with this app is these top icons here. So the first one is your name and username. That's important if you want to link up with your Ravelry account or other accounts that you might have. So, you know, you're going to need your email address. Over here you have your question mark, like it's question and answer time. This is a little disappointing. They don't have any frequently asked questions, and this is kind of a tricky app to learn your way around. So it would be nice if they did have that. But all they do have is this email address, so you could contact them if you wanted to. I personally like a frequently asked question section, but that's just me. Up here you've got, it looks like a yarn ball and 2 knitting needles, and that is your stash. So when you click on that, it opens up your yarn stash and your needle stash. Now, it is odd that they have needle when this is supposed to be a crochet app, but it's really an app for both. The needle stash could be a lot bigger for knitters because they have cables and they have also double pointed needles other than just, you know, regular pairs of needles. So a needle stash is a good idea. I don't have my knitting needles in here. I just put in a few crochet hooks that I have just to play with it a little bit. Again, like my yarn, I really know what I've got, but that's where you put it in. And if you wanted to create a new needle or a new hook, you would just click the create and then you would choose what you're using. So you've got straight needles, double needles, circular needles, steel needles, and then you have hooks. And then you would put in your hook length. For crochet, they're usually 5, I guess, because that's the only option they give you. Then you would put in your size and any notes. So if you wanted to differentiate between your 5.5 millimeter Furls hook from your 5.5 millimeter Susan Bates hook, you could put your notes there. However, I put notes for all of these and it doesn't just randomly show up until I click on it. So this one I know is my Susan Bates. So you have to click on it to see your actual notes. So that could be a little more streamlined. I would like it if it had like Furls or Susan Bates, you know, underneath it. That would be kind of cool. Okay, for yarn stash, again, I don't keep a lot of yarn on hand. I usually use up pretty much what I've got before I buy new, or I just buy for a certain project. However, a lot of people like to keep track of their yarn stash because they're collectors, and that's pretty cool too. So here you have your collection. So I really just entered this Red Heart Super Saver in white because I wanted to play with the app. So you can barely see this little dot here, but that indicates the color. I'm going to go ahead and open that. And it says up here, Super Saver starting quantity 1 skein, left on my stash 1 skein. And I could adjust that if I wanted to. If I wanted to add yarn to it, I would just click Create. You can put in the name of the yarn. You could put the company name and the color name, and then you could also, choose one of these icons for color. So obviously you could type in if there was a special color or maybe a number instead of the colorway, but you could just click on one of these dots so you kind of have an indication of what that color is when you open it. And you can put some notes down here as well, like, maybe you purchased this light blue yarn for a baby blanket that you're making. And then you would click Save. You can also search Ravelry because a lot of people do keep track of their stash in Ravelry, so you could click on that as well. Okay. The last button we have here at the top is the settings button. So you can open that up, and there are different options here. You can change your language, you can change your night mode, you can disconnect from Ravelry. There's information about the app, the terms and privacy. You have your size of your counters, so you can increase that if you want. You can change your counters to 0 by default. And whoops, I'm having a hard time getting my mouse to work. And you can enable expert mode. I have not explored expert mode. It looks like it's under the counters, so not sure what that does yet. Okay, the next thing we're going to look at are some of the buttons down here at the bottom. I'm going to click on Tools, and there are different really interesting tools here. I have played with most of them. Some of them are easier to operate than others. This one is called the swatch adapter, where you would enter in your stitches and your rows that the pattern requires, or that the project requires, and then you would enter in the stitches and rows that you have done, and it adapts it for you. So it tells you how many stitches and rows you're going to need at your gauge to accomplish the gauge in the pattern. I found this a little bit clunky to use and a little difficult to understand, but I'm not really one for gauge anyway, which is not a good thing, but I don't really crochet an awful lot of clothing items where gauge is important. So I'm going to move on to the next tool.
Let's say you're thinking about preparing dinner for your family later.
We do have ads because I have the free version.
I want to cook chili.
So if you're okay with watching ads every once in a while, go for the free version. If you're not, then you're going to have to think whether or not you want to purchase the app. Okay, the next one I'm going to look at is the yarn converter. This was a little bit better. So the number of skeins required for your pattern. So let's say they're using a Lion brand mandala yarn that you don't have. You're going to substitute your yarn. If it requires 5 skeins of that, and it's like 200 yards each, then you're going to put in your yarn's information here and click OK, and it's going to give you the correct information. So let me see if I can go ahead and do that. I'm going to have to disconnect my mouse for a second. Okay, so if the number of skeins required is 5, and each skein has 109 yards. And my yarn has 200 yarns in each skein. It's going to tell me how many skeins I need. So I'm going to only need 3 skeins of that yarn, of my yarn, to equal what the pattern is calling for. Now that's something that you probably could figure out in your head by yourself, but it's nice to have this cute little yarn converter. Thank you, Yarn Converter. Next, we're going to go to the units converter. This pretty much tells you inches to centimeters, meters to yards, and that sort of thing. This is something that's, you could do on Google just as easily, but again, we'll give it a try. So we're going to say that the pattern is talking meters and we want it to talk yards. So if they're saying 25 meters, then it comes out to 27.34 yards. Pretty simple. But again, it's a nice handy little tool because once in a while we do have to consult Google.
Before I discovered month books, I had more photos in my phone than I knew what to do with. Now I print them.
And let's get rid of our ad. Okay, so we also have a needle size and wool size converter. So you could look at your needle size, and this is basically taking it from metric, from UK, US, to metric, UK, or US. So that's pretty easy. I'm not even going to really go over that. Most needles and hooks actually have many labels on them, so you know which one you're looking for. Wool size, same thing, going from metric to US to UK and back and forth. So that's the units converter. Down here we have another tool to distribute and increase and decrease stitches, which was kind of an interesting thing to do. So if you have your current number of stitches, say it's 25, and you want to go down to 20 stitches, this is going to convert that for you. We advise to do 5 decreases every 4 stitches. Start with the first decrease after stitch 1, and then they'll show you how it will look. So you've got a regular stitch, and then you decrease, and then you've got 3 stitches, and then a decrease. So I honestly have not tried this much. I've typed in numbers, but I haven't actually tried it with yarn. So yeah, if you've tried it, let me know how it worked out. The last tool I'm going to look at is the pattern creator. I'm going to click on that. I have played with this a little bit. I did create a pattern for this simple beanie. Let me see if I can open it here. And this is what I'm saying. This I have found this app to be a little hard to get used to. There it is. Okay, so here is the pattern that I have written. It's a pretty simple hat pattern. You do have the option to add a picture. You can add free text. You can add rows and instructions as well. Honestly, it's okay. I do just as well using just a regular Google document. I didn't find it super exciting to use. The one thing that is kind of neat though is you can publish it to this app so that other people who use the app can see it and use it. Now you don't have to publish it, but you can. So that's kind of a neat thing that other people can see your pattern if you're so interested in making that for other people. So to create a pattern, it gives you all of these different options, which is kind of nice because, maybe they think of things that you didn't think of. Also, there is a sharing link here, so you can share a link and create a video. Lots of different options for creating the pattern. So you can edit your content. And, whoops. You can also preview it. So there's your simple beanie. And it gives you what you need. And your glossary. And your actual pattern. You can, when you're doing this pattern, say you've done your first row and you want to keep track, you can do that. You can go to your second row, third row. That's if you remember to click the buttons. Also, when you're working with a pattern, you can click on the timer and it will keep track of how much time you've spent making it. See the timer down here? And you can stop it when you need to. You can also delete your project. You can download it as a PDF, or you can create the project. You know, you can just go ahead and create it. So those are my patterns. Okay, let's move on to the next section. Okay, so the next button down here is tutorials. So when we click on this, it does open up some tutorials for the beginner. I'm going to open one of these tutorials, but I'm going to not be able to talk for a second because the music that they have overlaid is kind of loud and you won't be able to hear me. So I will just click on the magic ring and I'll talk to you about it in 1 second. Okay, so that is enough of that. After each of these videos plays, there is an ad that you need to watch as well. Just putting that out there as a disclaimer. But I'm not super thrilled with the video quality for these tutorials. I don't think that the magic ring method that they use is a very simple one either. So a lot of the tutorials that they have, a lot of the patterns that they have in here is amigurumi, and you're really going to need to know how to use a magic ring if you're going to do amigurumi, and this is probably the hardest way of making a magic ring. So I think a little more thought and care could have gone into the videos at one point, and I'm not sure which one of the videos it was, but at one point there was actually a fly buzzing around that landed on her hand. There's a lot of jittery camera work in a lot of these videos. I'm not even going to show you much more. Just not excited about this. If you wanted something with videos, you could really just go to YouTube. There are so many incredible teachers out there on YouTube that can show you better tutorials for how to do any of these stitches or techniques. So that's my take on the tutorials. And just for comparison, I'm going to show you some videos from a different app. So this app here, Dictionary of Crochet Stitches, I did another review on this, but their video quality is just so much better. But I will just show you one of their tutorials just so you can see the difference in the quality. This one's going to show a tutorial on the half double crochet. And as you can see, the video quality is just so much better. They don't need to put in, you know, little captions or anything like that. If a picture says 1,000 words, then a video must say a gajillion words. What do you think? Yeah. So if you're looking for an app with tutorials, I would go with this app. Sorry, Crochet Genius. Sorry. This is just my least favorite part of this app. Okay, so the next section we're going to look at is the community section. This is pretty neat, actually. There are different forums. You can meet new people, make friends. I guess you can receive claps. I think that's kind of like a thumbs up. How many shared items you've had in chats. and it has different things here. You've reached level 3. I think this is kind of like if you're a beginner and you're trying a different project, and you kind of, go through the different projects, and I don't know, as you go forward, you get little levels. I don't know. I haven't made any friends. I guess I'm antisocial. I don't know. But I did click around in the forum section, and it was kind of neat. So, all of these are different comments about projects and that sort of thing. So this one, easy, fast crochet projects, if you click on it, there are different things that people are talking about with their fast, easy crochet project. So, I just published my squid game. It's super easy. So if you wanted to check that out, you could, go talk to them. This person's making granny square pot holders. So these are just different places where people have posted ideas about their fast, easy crochet projects. Here's another one. Always the reminder, please be kind and civil. Let's have fun. So this one is show your pet. I don't see the pet. I don't understand. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe you have to click on them. I don't know. I didn't really explore it too much because it's not something that really interests me. But if it interests you, explore that a little bit, the social side of the app. Okay, the next section we're going to look at is the new project section. So we're going to just click on that, and that opens up preloaded patterns, and also this use rows or counters. So the preloaded pattern, you can just click on it, and it's going to tell you exactly what you need. It's going to have a description, and it also has the tutorials that you might need to refer to if you're new to crochet and you want to start this project. These are the different tutorials that they've offered to show you how to do different stitches. Click on that next. There's your project name is mouse. Okay. Part 1. You've got your timer here. You could set your timer to see how long it takes. I'm not really sure what this microphone is for, but you've also got your sound. So you click next, and it's make a magic ring. So if you don't know how to make the magic ring, you can refer back to the video, and you're going to do that one time. So let's say you've done that. You're going to click
crochet the given number of single crochet in the magic ring.
Don't know if you heard that, but it basically reads the instructions for you, and you're going to repeat that 6 times. So it makes it sound like you're going to go around 6 times, but you're not. You're just creating the stitches 6 times. You're just creating 6 stitches. So it is a little bit odd. Up here, it's going to keep track of, how far you are along in your project. And again, if I had clicked this timer, it will also keep track up here of how much time it's taking me to do it. So this is going to make it look like I'm a super fast crocheter.
Increase all stitches. Do 2 single crochet in each stitches of the previous row.
Okay, so that's showing you how many stitches you're going to put in your next one. It says you're going to repeat this 6 times. So that basically means 6 increases. Again, I think this is a very hard way to learn. If I were a beginner, I would think YouTube would be a better way to go. And I'm not just saying that because I have a YouTube channel. I truly do think it would be a lot easier to learn on YouTube than to have this robot.
Do 1 increase every 2 stitches. Crochet stitch 1 1 time. Stitch 2 2 times. Stitch 3 1 time again.
Yeah. Okay. You also can turn off the audio instructions. Okay. I'm going to go back to my projects. So you can also click up here, and this is if you wanted to make your own project and not use one of the projects on there. And you can import projects from Ravelry, which is really interesting. So you can search Ravelry or look in your Ravelry library. Maybe you've already got something saved there. So I've already saved some of these projects in Ravelry and I can import them. I've already imported this one into this, so I can use the different features of this app with a project from Ravelry. Oh, and I forgot, there are other sources you could use as well. So maybe you get your patterns from Lovecrafts or Hobie or Knitpicks, or maybe you've got some in your Google Drive or Dropbox that you want to share. You can also do that. You can also pull a pattern from your device. Maybe you've got something saved on your phone. You can do that as well. And you can also add photos. So those are pretty cool options. I've never seen another app that has that option. So that is pretty interesting. Okay. I do want to say also that they do have other patterns here that you can import from the website. I'm sorry, from the app. I forgot to say that here with your other options. One of the other sources you can pull from is from this app. So import one of the RC patterns optimized for the app created by our community. So when I was saying earlier that I made the pattern for the hat, other people could find it this way. So you can browse their patterns here. They do have them sorted as well by head, neck, torso, legs, that sort of thing. So here's some leg warmers that someone made. If you wanted to go to torso, here's some sweaters that people made and uploaded to this app. I have not found my hat yet. I have looked for it and I have not found it. So I don't know if maybe I did something wrong or if there's, maybe it takes time for it to show up. I don't know. But it is a pretty neat feature. And it does draw you together, I guess, with other people in this community. So if you did their project, you could, let them know. It's kind of neat. This was kind of interesting to me. They have some amigurumis in here. I don't know that people wear amigurumis on their heads, but maybe they were just sorted wrong, or maybe the person who created it, did something wrong. I'm not sure. Okay, so I'm going to click all the way back to the beginning. If you were a beginner, you could certainly just do the beginner projects. And then there's easy patterns, and of course there's always the premium, so if you pay you can get more patterns, and the same with the intermediate. So as far as premium, I'm not going to pay for this app. It's a neat app, but not that neat. I can find patterns all over the place. I don't need to do them from this particular app. Okay, so now because I did open that mouse pattern, it is showing up here in my patterns, and I can kind of play with it. So once you do have your pattern come up, you do have your counter here, which is nice. It kind of helps you keep track of where you are in your pattern. You do have your timer here, so you can see how long it takes to make the pattern. If you wanted to highlight your rows, you would have to you would have to be a premium member of the app. So this is for the premium members. The highlighter would be a neat option to keep track of your rows, because let's face it, as we get older, our eyesight is not as great, and our memory is not as great either. So it'd be kind of nice to be able to highlight where we are in our row. Well, even if we weren't older, right? Okay, let's go back to the home screen. I think we've covered just about everything there is to cover on this app. Okay, so there are a lot of premium features with this app. Let's learn about that. Let's see what the premium costs. Okay, so if you wanted to try the premium version of the app, it is $6.99 a year. That's US dollars. What do you get for that? You get no ads. All of the patterns are unlocked. There's not that many patterns to unlock, really, in my opinion. And the ads really aren't that annoying. They're just once in a while. So first two things, I'm like, nope, don't need to pay for that. No, don't need to pay for that. The next thing, synchronization in the cloud. Access your projects from all your devices and never lose your progress. For me, that wouldn't be important enough to pay for it. Unlimited counters per project. I didn't know they were limited, so I guess I didn't realize that was a thing. And adding pictures. I was able to add pictures with the free version, so I'm not really sure what that's about either. So you could try the premium for 7 days, for free for 7 days. You could purchase all the patterns at once and remove the ads for $4.99, which I don't understand why this is $6.99 and this is $4.99, so that's a bit confusing. And you have the option to continue with the free version, or you already have an active subscription. So those are your options on the premium page. Why isn't this app completely free? This just, explains why they think you should pay for it and where they came up with their pricing, how much work it took to create it, and, that they're always available for your questions and that sort of thing. I'm going to skip it. I'm going to skip the premium. Okay, so final thoughts on the Crochet Genmius app. It's okay. It's not bad. There are certainly some features in it that I really like a lot. There are also some features that I'm not super crazy about. The tutorial section, I'm not crazy about at all. I think that those videos could have been made a lot more professionally than just, harsh sunlight and a bathroom towel and flies buzzing around. But overall, I think it's good. I think it's going to be a little tricky for a beginner to learn from this, but for someone who's more of an intermediate or an experienced knitter or crocheter, I think it might be helpful. I guess it's really about personal preference. For me, though, I'm going to probably delete this from my phone, and I'm not going to pay for the premium. That's just my opinion, though. That's what this is about, my opinion, and kind of showing you what it looks like. So I hope you found it helpful, and let me know what you think. Let me know if you've tried this app or any other apps, and if there's another app that you'd like me to review, let me know that as well. I've got a little bit of a collection now of these app reviews, and I enjoy doing them. So have a great day, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.